All right, welcome to next episode of Have a Go with Corey Vachigi. Next guest, Toddy Liubinskas.
Thanks for having me, mate.
So Toddy, met him a few years ago. We were playing footy together. It was about 12 years ago, probably longer than that, 13. 13. I feel old.
A long time ago.
So Toddy currently is Director of Complete Strength Performance.
Yep.
We're in the Michelle Bridges office at the moment. So you've just taken up a role with them as the male side of the business, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm one of their lead trainers.
Yeah.
So, we're about to push out a program for blokes only. So,
the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, the boys.
Blokes only program, which is exciting. So
you do also Men's Health Australia Fitness Director.
Yep.
Run boss of the 440 Run Club.
Yep.
And part-time male model.
Oh, mate, sometimes they're paying me enough.
So give us like a little bit of background of how you got into this and a bit of your journey, where you come from.
So I left school 2001, graduated, always played footy, played basketball, triathlons, active kid. Came out of there, was a courier for my first job. So I had a van. And then I had a courier run from I was subcontracting to a freight company. So, mate, I used to live at Amway and Avon. You remember Avon? The little, the online ordering system?
No,
anyway,
I can't say I do.
Used to do all that, so all up and down the North Shore. Then I was playing footy. Went over and worked in London for a year, then came back.
What did you do in London?
I was working for British Telecom in marketing and doing a bit of footy and also working on the door at some nightclubs.
Oh, yeah. Tommy the bouncer. Yeah, right.
Holding a clipboard. So that was interesting. But, mate, that was good. It was like a rite of passage going over doing that, and then came back and then got into footy pretty seriously. But I was still, when I met you, I was working in like corporate. So I was working for a digital advertising company. They used to, Salmat went digital, so it was letterbox delivery, catalogs and stuff like that. So I was doing some stuff with them, and then that turned into a digital business, and all the time I was training people, playing football.
So you're doing your own personal training back then, or are you working out of somewhere?
Yeah, so I got qualified probably 2 years into that job, because I was just finding that playing football, everyone would hit me up and be, hey, I want to train, or can you train me, or can we do this? And I was like, well, I may as well get qualified and it was just a hobby.
You always want, the first thing I remember when we met, you were just like one of the fittest blokes ever. You just loved training.
Just loved it.
You do, eh?
I loved it.
Get a stiffy for it.
Well, mate, even doing stuff with the Warrior, like when we train with Rob Roland Smith.
That's the Sandhill Warrior, for anyone doesn't know of him.
The Sandhill Warrior.
You'll be able to Google him for sure.
100%.
Palm Beach,
yeah. Well, so Dad, obviously West goes back through my blood. So, Dad played for West.
He loves his training too, eh?
Yeah, and Rob trained Dad. So when I was 5 or 6, I remember running up the Sandhills when I was that young, right? So coming back and going to that was just like home to me. So training and stuff like that was kind of just the thing that we did. So it was always on the weekends or throughout the week, whatever sport I was playing, there'd always be something to do with training. So, I just learned to love it. So I basically got into that job and started training my clients, like corporate clients. So instead of going for like a boozy lunch, I'd go, hey, come on, let's go train. Then we'll go and catch up and have like something nice to eat. But it just created a different approach to dealing with business people and corporates.
So rather than the boozy lunch, it was a hard session.
We'd have a beer afterwards, but you wouldn't go out and it wouldn't just be the norm. I'd be like, hey, let's go train. And I got a different rapport with clients that way.
I guess you get a different type of client too. You'd say those ones that are willing to do that are probably a bit more driven, would you say?
Yeah, but I mean, some of them didn't want to train, and that was fine. But there was others that were either like really keen runners, or they were keen on either strength and conditioning, or they'd play footy, or you just find out a bit more about them. Mate, that sort of catapulted into opening up the gym, because I was playing footy off the back of playing with West. I went to West Harbour.
And that's CSP, Complete Strength Performance.
Yeah, met my two business partners. Bronson Harrison's my other business partner. So he was in the Inner West West Tigers player, played for New Zealand, Raiders, St George, and Shane McLeod, my other business partner, I played rugby with. And so Shane and I were he was always like, let's go and, let's open up a facility. And I was just off the back of footy and he was heavily into CrossFit. And I was just getting into CrossFit. And then we were trying to work out, we talked about it for like 2 or 3 years before we even opened anything up. And so within that 2 or 3 years, I was at Soundmat. We were doing boot camps in the back of Gladesville underneath the bridge. It was just one of the things that, it might work or, it could work. And I was kind of hedging my bets a little bit. Then Shane goes, hey, let's do it. And then Bronson got wind of it. And then we all came and met together and started CSP 6 years ago.
So you've moved that business, hey? That's moved up the road from the stadium now. It was at Concord Stadium.
It was at Concord Oval. They're going to redevelop Concord Oval for the Centre of Excellence.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be for Western Sydney. A really nice place to come and train and hang out. But we had to move up just because we wanted our own spot and it was time to sort of move and evolve.
Is Coaching Zone, were you doing that?
We're still doing it.
Still doing that?
Yeah, still doing it.
So that's above CSP?
Yep.
Is that right?
You walk in, CSP.
What's Coaching Zone too? What is it?
So CSP's complete strength performance, all strength and conditioning, a mix of like CrossFit, HIIT training, strength training, you name it, we sort of do it. Then Coaching Zone was more of the entry level to CSP. The programming's a little bit not as intense. It's almost like a mix of F45 and a Vision kind of brought into one. And we got some good free reign with that in terms of programming, and we just attracted a different customer. Like when we train, we'll probably train, but not everyone trains the way that we sort of,
we're machines, we
exactly,
are. We're old machines.
But in saying that, like when you look at CrossFit, everyone goes, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you get the rest of the population, call it 60 to 70% of people, won't go and lift a barbell and lift heavy and do the, CrossFit-y style training.
Did you find a lot of those people that came through Coaching Zone ended up jumping in the CSP program?
So once
they build some confidence up?
Yep, they'd stay there and then they'd go into CSP, or they just loved that sort of style of training and they'd stay there. So we tried to just broaden the market. Instead of just going for this one sort of customer, we opened it up to a whole different range of people.
Is that
good?
And it's been successful for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Like we've, every business comes with challenges and things like that. Like we literally 2 years ago, within that space of time, we moved from where we were for 4 years down at the Oval. We moved business. We opened another business, and it's just like we thought it was all just going to fall into place, but it took a good year to get our groove.
What were you struggling with? Like, what was the
running 2 businesses, moving? There was parking differences. People, the slight bit of change, and everyone goes, "Oh, no, I'm not going to be a part of it." But that's like anything, like people get used to a certain way.
So being out of that, I guess, that comfortable habit, like everyone freaks out about a bit of change. Like something happens in the world. Look at the world
what we're
now.
doing right now. Like
change is very scary for that. Like probably 90% of people, I reckon, a bit scared of it. They don't know what to do. Even like you said, you moved a couple 100 metres up the road.
500 metres up the road, and it was a total different. But what came with that was a new set of challenges, a new set of opportunities, and we ended up adapting pretty well. And now we're still there. So getting through COVID and getting through all that sort of stuff, I think we're going to come out of it in an okay position.
You're like the jack of all trades in the fitness industry, I always describe you. But are you still hands-on there at CSP?
Yeah, so I'm physically not going to be in 5-Doc. I've taken the name and the program and everything and I've put it into the East. So I've now started again.
So what are you doing now? I've noticed you've been doing some CSP boot camps. So just starting there like you did back in the day.
Exactly what we did.
Square one.
Back to square one. So 2 days a week. And it's been pretty humbling doing that, like just getting onto, early mornings, 6 o'clock, 2 days a week, seeing who turns up. And that's complementing what the boys are still doing out in 5-Doc. And we've got another one out in at Hills High School.
Oh, yeah.
So we've got a gym out there, so another CSP 7 Hills.
So is it a franchise model? I didn't even know you had that one.
Yeah,
What are you doing there? Is it just all
with,
under the one?
yeah. So there's another side. So CSP Group, CSP Athlete Factory falls underneath that as well. Okay. So that's all the kids programming we do, holiday programs, term programs. Bronson predominantly heads that up, and then we've used that program to go into schools. So we're in Hills High School, we're in at Sydney Boys, we're in at Holy Cross. Concord High, Rosebank, we're a few different schools within the inner west and out west, and then the one at Hills was an opportunity to come in and actually take the gym and run the program out of the gym. So we're within the school facility. So in the morning and the afternoon it's a commercial space, and then during the school hours we cater for all the school kids.
So what was the drive behind getting into the schools?
Just we didn't want any kids to miss out on what we have as, out behind us in education in terms of strength and conditioning. I know when I was growing up, I would have loved someone to come in and be like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you lift. This is how you're going to get fitter and stronger for this sport. So we wanted to just offer that back to the schools. That's
like a really good initiative, especially this day and age with, everyone goes, oh, back in my day, we used to do this. But it's like, so many kids are like, even us, we'll sit there in front of an iPad or a fucking iPhone for hours and hours.
Yep.
So to get into the schools and trying to make that change a bit earlier.
Yep.
It's a really good initiative.
Yeah, and that like we it took a long time to do that too. Like pretty much from when CSP was born, 2014, like the end of that year, we started the idea of, hey, let's try and do this, and we started doing it by running holiday programs. So we just opened up and said, all right, what can we do in the holidays to give kids a reason to stay healthy, stay active, maybe look at their chosen sport. And it was predominantly like rugby league focused because we had a lot of connections in rugby league. And we bring players in to talk to the kids in the holidays. They loved it. They'd all get a shirt and a hat. And then we started to evolve and grow that into, okay, well, how do we turn this into something that happens throughout the school year? So like after school care, kids would come to the gym and learn etiquette of the gym, get to know other kids, know how to lift, get stronger, and that's now sort of spiraled into this bigger thing, which is Athlete Factory in schools and
that's really
getting
good.
into the curriculum. So
it's sort of like your boot camp with CSP. It's just evolved.
Yeah.
Like same thing really, but in terms of that kids program.
Yeah. And every year there's a new set of things that challenges that we're working on. So it's good. Like it's keeping us busy.
Then after CSP, what was your next role? Like where'd you go to after that?
Yeah.
Is that the men's health? Or
men's health nearly 2 years now. There's been a couple of little changes internally with that, like with who owns the actual magazine and publication, but I'm still part of the family.
What do you do there? What's your actual role?
An extension of the editorial team. So Scott Henderson, who's the editor, and some of the editors and writers, I'll be like the person on the ground that will be like, hey, let's go try this, or let's do an event. Hit me up for any content in terms of like strength programming, look at the events that we're doing. So whether it's Red Bull Defiance, a marathon, how am I training? How do we provide content back to the mag for that?
Red Bull Defiance. Tell us what that's about. Do you know who hit me up about that? Was Weasel, one of our mates, Steve Mitchell.
Yeah.
Hit me up to do that with him. I was like,
mate, you'd love it.
I would love it, but I was like, I don't know if Weasel would love it, would he?
But it's one of those things. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, to be perfectly honest.
Because it goes for a couple of days, doesn't it?
2-day event. Yeah. So it's 150 kilometres of adventure racing.
And there's a few different...
so the first day, it's in far north Queensland, so it's in Cairns. And it's beautiful setting. Like you're around sort of, tropical waters.
Stinking hot.
And it's usually around August. So this year they've had to push it back due to everything going on. So it'll happen next year. But the first day, you are to run, a bike, and a paddle, and they're the disciplines, right? So the first day you get and a kayak, whitewater raft.
Oh,
so you get up.
Is it big rapids,
mate? It's pretty heavy. It's good. Like it's fun. So you're in teams of two, and they they draft you on the Friday before to seed you into the boat. So they can only fit 6 in the boat. So you got 3 teams in each boat with a driver in the raft. First day they wake you up about 4:30. You go out, get on the raft, and it's a 10K raft down to this position, and you're battling through other people and going past, and you're going down through different rapids. Blokes are falling out of the boat. You're bringing them back in. Then you abseil into the water, come back up, and then you've got a 23K run through the forest, all uphill, jungle, sorry. And then you come back out, and it's a 53K bike. That's day 1.
Fucking hell.
Then you come back for day 2, and it's a 20K bike, 17K paddle, 9K run, 7K paddle, 7K run. And that's it.
How was the training for that? Like what?
Yeah, mate, we didn't do enough training.
Didn't do enough?
Oh, a lot of bike. Like, imagine fire trails going up a hill for 20, 30 Ks. That's the bike. Like, it's pretty heavy. But it's so much fun, and you've just got to rely on that person. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter how fast you are. You're only as fast as your slowest bloke.
Yeah.
So...
Because you did that with Trent Knox, yeah.
Yeah, with the 440. So, yeah, that was... We're definitely doing it again next year. It's just this year's been on hold, so...
I was like Weasel hit me up, and I was just like, we did a triathlon, actually, and Weasel took out the triathlon.
I heard he did.
I
heard you were pretty dirty on it, too.
It wasn't dirty. I had a shit bike. No, but
don't blame you
so we're calling him the champ now, but... Yeah. When he hit me up, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I was like, Weasel, you won't be able to do this. And then we did the triathlon, he actually won it. So, but I want to give it a crack.
Yeah.
And I reckon it'll be good fun.
It's good. Like, it's...
challenging, very like something that I would never do. So
that's the whole reason, right? You put yourself into it. Like, the only... And, mate, I went through a lot
Have a go, mate. Name of the podcast, Have a Go.
Have a go, exactly. Well, I went through a lot of growth in that, throughout that, because I went through a lot of personal stuff the last couple of years. And I kind of thought I had it all together, but when you're out in the middle of the jungle,
where do you sleep?
Yeah, you sleep in. They got you really nice accommodation.
Oh, okay.
Like, you get hotels and everything, and yeah. It's not like you have to camp.
I was like, I thought that's when I was seeing you do it on social media. That's what I thought you did.
Yeah.
You're just out there for 2 days. That's it.
No, but that
they
might
should
be
do
next,
that actually.
the next one. No, but I went through, mate, because I'm usually training with a bit of music and whatever, and you've got people around you and stuff. But mate, when you're out there on your own. And you've been on your feet for nearly 5-6 hours, the head noise is pretty real. Like, I thought I was hearing stuff. And I got to the end of that first day and broke down, like, just had a full breakdown. Like,
oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, a bit of a teary.
My massive teary. So, but that's, like, as you said, like, because I'd never done it before, a lot of growth came out of that.
Was it a sense of accomplishment, the teary as well, or was it more just like letting some shit out of you?
A bit of both. Like, it was, I've done it, and that was hard, and I went through a lot of things. I didn't think I was going to probably make it. Not in a bad way, but I was like, what am I doing? Like, I'm in the middle of the jungle. I've got my business partners back, running my the CSP side of the business. Yeah. I didn't really I had a kind of a direction, but there was a lot of balls up in the air, and here I am in the middle of the jungle in Cairns, just doing my thing, and you start questioning yourself, and you go, right, well, are you doing the right thing? Are you on the right track? You went through a divorce. You failed at that. Are you failing or are you growing? Like, all this stuff, right? So it all came back pretty heavy on me in the end, but mate, it was good. It was
it's weird how like putting yourself in an uncomfortable situation like that, where I guess you're pushing your body and your mind to the limit. 100%. So much stuff can just come to the surface,
mate, and there's nowhere for it to go but out. and wait, it's on camera.
Oh,
so you've got like 3 cameras on you, and I've got this girl from Red Bull Media going,
you're bawling your eyes out.
Tell us how you feel, and I'm there going, oh, I can't do this. Mate, I've actually got the video. It's I will post it at some stage. But,
show your vulnerability, mate.
Oh, mate, and that's probably the biggest thing I've learned about myself the last probably 2 years, 3 years, is a lot being vulnerable and just going, well, I don't really care what anyone thinks. I'm just going to be the way I am, and actually, it's been a lot of growth and a lot of opportunity out the back of it. So it's been good.
Good stuff. Well, you mentioned there, like, I was going to ask you this, but I forgot about it. But your business partners, like, you're like, what am I doing? These guys are back there. How do you manage that? Like, do you use
manage like their expectations.
Yeah, like use three people as a business partner, especially if your mates too.
Yeah.
Like what's the dynamic there? Like there's been some ups and downs or...
100%. Yeah. And if you can't be honest and open and transparent with them, then you shouldn't be in business with them. I think the beautiful part about our friendship and about our mateship and business is that there's a level of respect, but also a level of transparency to go, well, they're going to pull me up if I'm not pulling my weight, and I'll pull them up, and it's just an open conversation. And there's a lot of learnings come out. We've been in business for nearly 6 years. And up until now, like, I'm now taking a different path in my personal business, like with all the Michelle Bridges stuff, all the stuff like there's some media opportunities coming up, but I was pretty open and transparent with the boys about all that. So, and rightly so, like the business has changed and evolved into different ways. It's just being open and transparent about everything. I think that's the biggest thing.
To keep a healthy relationship.
Yeah. As long
honest
as
and transparent.
You got to call it out straight away. Otherwise, if you sort of go, oh, I think they won't get upset, or I think they will, or I think you just got to call it out. That's probably what's helped us, to be honest. So,
what's the run boss at the 440? Actually, I'll give you a little bit of a story about the 440. This is a bit of inspiration behind the potty why I started this podcast. So, Toddy will touch on exactly a bit more in detail what the 440 is, but it's basically a run club, and I had an idea to start the 440 out in Penrith, but you got to be there. The criteria is you got to be there 52 weeks of the year. So every Saturday or Sunday, is it? You can do it.
Saturday, yep.
Yeah, Saturday, and I was going to do that, but I just literally couldn't commit to be there every weekend. So I was like, fuck, what's another way I can give back to the community? So the podcast was born. Have a go.
Yep.
So you can thank Toddy for that a little bit. Toddy and Noxie, the other fella that started with it. Yep. But what's the idea behind the 440 and what is it?
So and I mean I'll get to what you said before about turning up 52 weeks of the year. The 440 was founded by Trent. Nearly probably 4 years ago now. He started running this hill in Bronte up Calgary, up the one way and back down Bronte Road, and they used to do it as a sprint session. So they'd sprint up, walk back down to train for the half marathon, and he trained for the half marathon in Canberra, and I think he placed like 9th.
Holy shit!
So he had a really good place, and it was due to the hills he did, because it's quite
ninth.
Quite a flat run.
Unreal.
So after that race, he came back and started doing it as a session. Saturday, 5 a.m, he's like, well, I'm just going to turn up and do it. And he was going through his whole, there's a few things going on in his personal life, and he needed that on Saturday to get him through. That was something for him to look forward to. Then he just started inviting people. He started an Instagram page. He started having a bit of banter with it. And that's how we've grown up with training. Like, we always banter when we were at training. Like, you call people nicknames and you pay them out and all the rest of it. Same thing with the run club. So we started that, and it was bum taps, and it was all this stuff.
How do the girls go? You walking past
it's probably a bit different now, but it's like a back tap. But mate, there was the bum tap, for example. You'd be running, and it'd be pitch black, and you'd slap someone on the bum, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, sorry about that."
Yeah, because what time? It's like pitch black. Yeah. It's real early. You do it there.
Bronte starts at 5 a.m. And the reason is, yes, it starts in the dark, but people metaphorically start in dark places, and you're walking into the light as part of that run, but also safety and cars and things like that. There's not many cars down there at that time, and no one's really up at 5. And it's a bit harder for you to get up at 5. That's the whole purpose behind it. Get up at 5, get down there, do something that's a bit uncomfortable. As we were saying before, growth comes from discomfort and all that sort of stuff.
Any breakdowns at the end of the 440?
There's a couple. Yeah. There's a couple of people, like people that have been watching it for nearly months on end. There's a few guys that I know that have watched it and turned up, and all of a sudden they're getting back taps and encouragement, something they've never had in their training ever. Tears of joy coming down their face as they're running up.
It's unreal seeing that stuff, eh?
Sun's coming up, jump in the water at the end. It's you can't beat it. So that's the essence of the 440. We've now got nearly 16 or 17 of them around the country and around the world. Because people, even through COVID and stuff, people have said, "Oh, I want to run and keep moving and keep active. I want to do one in my area." Cool, go and do it. And we've gotten a little bit more structure around that now. So back to your point about turning up 52 weeks of the year, yes, but we encourage people to join like together. So if you've got a couple of mates that want to do it with you, the onus is on everyone. It's not on just you. And it's like you said, I won't be able to commit to 52 Saturdays a year. Yeah, we know that. Like, it's really hard to commit to that. And that's why Trent and I, work quite well together. And we know that if we don't turn up to Bronte, people are still running it now. Like, even through this whole downturn of like people, no big groups, people are down there every Saturday, 5 a.m. running it because they just love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good initiative. Like, you've told me the goal, but what's your goal?
So the goal, we've still got the goal of getting 1 million people moving. So we want 1 million people moving under the 440 movement. And whether that's through events, through running every week, or just being a part of what the 440, being part of what the 440 is all about. So, and it's funny, like anything, it'll be in its 4th year this year, but every time we get out and run, there's a new story. The menu doesn't change for the 440. So you turn up, you run, you do your thing, but the experience changes because some new people will turn up. There's weather. Weather plays such a big role. It could be pissing down rain and people are still out there running and you just get a different experience. Some people have never done that because they're so used to getting, all right, I'm going to go for my run. I got my headphones, got my phone, got all my gear. Oh, it's a nice day. I'm only going to go out when it's nice. When you just got to turn up no matter what, whatever the conditions are. And
you also got to have a hill in the run. Is that right? You still do that?
Have to
like the metaphor. I remember you telling me running up a hill in life.
Yeah, it is. Like, you'd love to have a hill, but if you don't, there's no. Now it's just whatever. There's a loop, and the loop's important. The main thing is the loop because you might have some people that are extremely fast, some people are extremely slow, some people in the middle. If you just do 5K one way, 5K back, different experience, you're not going to see all these people. But if you loop it, the fast guys are going to lap the slow guys and the slow guys will get interaction with those guys and it's more of an inclusive run.
It's a really good... I've done a couple down at Bronte with you and the biggest thing I liked about it was the community feel. It's like people that you wouldn't even... I was speaking to people that did this with their life and this person's from here and this country and I'm just like, these are people you'd never talk. Like, you might go to the pub, you won't speak to them people. You know what I mean? You go to a party maybe, but because you're there doing the same thing, you're in a similar type mindset. So really good, I guess, like community and networking opportunity. Like, you get to like 100%. Stuff like that. It's just really good, like-minded people in the same spot.
Well, it's an energy source. Like, you turn up every week, and it's we've had people have kids off the back of the 440. We've had people that have hooked up. People that have done business together. People that have done collaborations. We've had other run groups start off the back of the 440. So there's a
550.
Yeah, 550. There's like people will meet. Like, so say we'll meet. We'll be like, oh, where do you live? Oh yeah, we're local. Let's go and do a run during the week. Then they've started a run. So there's all these different things that have started to evolve and happen. People get work out of it. Oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a nanny. Yeah, I need to mind my kids. Cool. Can you come and look after them? It's all that sort of stuff. It's like the business networking breakfasts that go on, but we're just running, and we don't have any expectation other than turn up, see what happens.
Are you looking to monetize it?
We already are.
Oh yeah.
So we've turned it into a business. So it's a for-profit business. We've done it through our merchandise, apparel. We've done some work with Newzest. So we're doing some stuff where we invite the run bosses to be a part of a network, and if they like the product, they can, talk about it and create their own little business network within their 440. So that's kind of the plan as well, and we will get a membership down the track. We just want to make sure that with that membership, you'll have we'll never charge people to turn up for the run, but if you want to be a member of the 440, you get access to these brands and these deals and all that sort of stuff. So that's essentially where we'll take it.
And again, that wasn't really a plan at the start, was it? Like your boot camps or... It just
evolved. Yeah. And I think that's the good thing is, like, we didn't push it. There's definitely an idea to do it, but like, if it happens, it happens. We do have an expectation, but we shouldn't force it.
It's like, I think with the way that your businesses or what you've been a part of, it's just you just start it because you love it.
Yeah.
So like that attracts that. Like I had James Tahuna on the other day, and he's talking about everyone's got that sort of vibe. Like you do something, there's a vibe to it.
Yep.
Like if you're passionate about it, you're just doing it because you love it.
Yep.
Eventually, like it'll snowball, and there'll be opportunities that pop up. And
Yep, exactly. And it's the age-old philosophy. Like you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Like I honestly get up and I bounce out of bed. Like I love doing what I do in front of people on, especially now doing live workouts and helping people. I love connecting to people all around the world. I love turning up to go for a run, hanging out with, like doing this sort of stuff. Like this stuff's unreal. And if you can help people doing it, then it's mad.
so, like I said, you are the jack of all trades in the fitness industry. How do you prioritise and get time for everything? And are you pretty strict with your time? And
Yeah, I have been a lot more the last couple of years. I put priority on things that need to get done for me, but I also need to. I've become a little bit introverted as well over the past 6 to 12 months, just because I'm out there like talking to people all the time. I love going home and just like throwing a hoodie on, sitting on the couch and watching like a Netflix series for a good, couple of hours and going to sleep. But what comes with that is a lot of like, I'm quite structured. I get up certain times of the day. I got to make sure I have enough rest because I'm doing, up to maybe 3 or 4 sessions a day physically. The output for me is a lot of, and I plan a lot for that. So I'll have to make sure I program the week before. As you can see here, turn up on the board. There's like programs up on the board. Make sure that they're delivered properly. I make sure that I give time back to the people that are going to give time to me as well. So
yeah, I've noticed that you always, like especially the last few years, where after footy, when I've talked to you, you're always giving back, doing something like, all right, I'll go help this guy out or jump into this charity. Like I've bumped into you at a couple, like I think a golf day and maybe twice, I think, seeing you down there. And so you seem to, like, has that always been a passion thing? I know, like, your mum's got a pretty decent charity. Like, she's been involved for a while.
Yeah, well,
right?
So mum pretty much worked with kids with varied abilities and adults with like varied abilities all their life. So Down syndrome, autism.
Because you were doing some programs for them at CSP, weren't you?
Yeah, so we started it to get. So I said to mum. So when mum was 20, she had kids at a young age, and all in Concord. We were walking down the street one day about sort of 2 or 3 years into the gym, and she met some of these kids and they were adults, and we started talking. We're like, "Oh, what are you doing with yourself?" And some of them were overweight, not healthy, not living healthy lifestyles, fell into a little bit of a hole. And mum said, why don't we bring him down to the gym and run like once a week, do an hour with him and just work it out. And that went from, functional movement, just getting yourself down onto the floor back up. Because some of these kids' parents, or they're adults now, we call them kids, parents are quite elderly and probably couldn't help them as much as, what they were helping when they were younger. So I'd do real simple stuff like get yourself down on the floor, get back up, squatting, functional movement. That's now turned into a non-for-profit charity, Let's Get Going, and mum's had it for nearly 3 years. She's got 15 to 16 athletes in there now.
Oh, yeah?
So and got a heap of funding that helps. Does a lot of Zoom calls lately, like takes them out to Pilates. They're doing bar classes. They're doing stuff with CSP. The Warrior's in there doing some stuff.
Torture.
Oh, mate, yeah, but he loves it. Like it's such a good thing. So that's kind of been. I think I get a lot of that stuff from mum and dad. Like my father and my mum really well. So
yeah, they're always when we play together. Your old man's always there helping out, whatever he can do.
Yeah.
Like in your mum, like you said, your mum. I remember you talking a lot about like what she did in terms of charity and that before. Yeah. So you can see that's come through to you, mate. You're a good catch, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bad sort. Loves people. Ladies out there. You single?
Yeah, I am, mate.
Oh. Yeah.
You never know what could happen.
We'll slide into his DM, girls.
No. It's danger zone there.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, always giving back. And what's your, because you're in touch with so many people of what you do within the industry, like your network, like what's your, I guess, thoughts? You know, everyone's like, keep these five people around you that are going to pull you up. Like, what's your thoughts on networking and having that, you know, positive network around you? How important is that?
Oh, that's really important. Like, it's vital. I've got a few key guys that I look to that are older than me, been in business for a while, and they're not necessarily in health and fitness. There's, you know, I've got a mate I'm actually having lunch with this afternoon. He's in finance. And then I've got another mate that's in law. I've got another mate that is in health and fitness. And also, like, even Michelle, like, she's been in the industry for so long. I look to her as a role model, like, for advice, and I always want to be better at what I'm doing, but I also I always want to mix with people that I can either learn from or I just love to be around. And I sort of learnt that lesson probably early 20s, like going through, and, you know, you'd go out party with guys and all the rest of it, and, you know, it was all fun and good, but, you know, are they going to make you better? You kind of know you're not doing the right thing, or you know, you're in the wrong sort of circle. I've got to mix it up. And you're a product of the guys you hang around with. You know what I mean? Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. So
I like that one.
So
that might have trumped Mira's quote, the refill your cup before you pour it out to others.
100%.
I like that one.
Yeah. But it is like, and I think there's my nan used to always say that, like, you know, if you sat down with your group of mates right now, you hand selected your group of mates and they had to say something about you, you'd be confident that they'd give you a rap. You'd hope they would anyway.
I don't know if my mates would.
But that's the sort of thing, like that's where, you know, I'm always, you know, you got a core group of mates. It's funny, as you get older, you kind of just, your real tight circle gets smaller and smaller, because I think you just cut away all the stuff that you don't really
I agree with you there, but I also think, like, I've got mates that we've been together, like friends since been friends since we were in primary school, but then I've got mates that I've met along the way. But what I've realised now is, like you said, you got those mates that used to go out and party and everything. Like, if I hang around my mates like that, they'll probably know who I'm talking about. Like, I know I'm just there to have a good time. Like, you don't expect anything else than that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we'll go to them for advice. Like, you probably go to another group of friends that are in that sort of circle. So it's like,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I think you just got to be able to realise that as well. Yeah. Like, this group is going to pull me up. This group's for a bit of fun. Yeah. This group are probably, I don't even want to go see them. So it's like, they're probably not your mates anymore.
Call screening. I'm not answering that call.
But it's like, you got to understand what their value, like, you love them to death, they're your mates, could be your family are like that as well, but you got to understand what they bring to you and what you can give them as well.
Totally. And I think with that comes a set of, like, responsibility, and you know, if you're always in this side of the, you know, over here partying a lot, then that's going to be a true result of what the output is, right? But if you're always 100%. Over here trying to do this stuff and mix with these sort of, like, all these people that help you, then the outcome's going to be probably in a better situation. You know what I mean?
It's so simple when you think about it. Like, it is. It's like, well, say this guy's the CEO. If I go hang out with him for 6 months, like, where are you going to get to? Obviously, a lot better than where you were at that stage.
Yeah.
But I think it comes back to also breaking those habits of, like, it's just comfortable and it's easy. So that's the habit you're just used to doing.
Yeah, and I always, you know, time is the biggest thing. Like, time's so precious at the moment. As the older we get, like, we're not ancient, but we're not.
Speak for yourself, mate.
We're not spring chickens. No, but I mean, I'm quite valuable with my time now, and I you know, if someone's going to give their time up, then I'm definitely going to come back, and that's what I said with the charity work and stuff like that. There's always a purpose behind it. I know that and even with the 440, there was for 3 years, we just turned up with no expectation. We still turn up with no expectation, but all that stuff's starting to come back a little bit more for us now, in terms of, all right, these guys are always going to show up. We're going to support you in these, you know, varied ways. So, I think with hanging out with people and things like that, my circle of friends, I've got a few heaps. Like I'm friends with a lot of different people. Like there's a million different people I'm friends with, but
Mr. Popular over here.
mate, it's but one of those things like my actual time, like where it's where I take away from all the work stuff. I am a little bit selective with that because I know that I give time up for the people who want to give time back to me. So
only form of currency time is
correct.
You like that one?
Yeah,
Can get a shirt made up for that.
I like it.
So this is your newest role in these offices where we are now, Michelle Bridges.
Yep.
And what's the idea or moving forward? What's the plan with that? Because she was just strictly female, wasn't she?
Yeah.
The program.
Yep. So the idea is I'm a lead trainer within your organisation. I'll be the face of the male only program. And just to support the group and offer something back out to guys that don't really, not that they don't have an idea, but haven't really put it on the priority list. So you got a lot of people out there that will be either really driven in business and, health and fitness kind of takes a back seat. But, look at it this way. If you want to invest in your health and fitness, the first thing that people sort of do is they go, it's too hard. I don't know how to do that, or I don't really want to do that. I won't go through that, but they'll go and buy a car. They'll buy a pair of shoes. They'll go on an extravagant holiday. What's the one thing you want to put money back into is yourself, right? So you can go and get a personal trainer and get all these things. So it's about just changing the mindset and pushing out a program like what we're doing. So, it's I've been with the business just at the start of the year, so it's going to be interesting to see where it goes.
It's so funny what you said there is people won't spend, say, $50 a week on a membership or whatever, but however you do your personal training for a couple hundred, or you can get a gym membership for $12 if you wanted to.
Yep.
But they'll go on the weekends, drink, eat whatever, like you said, like.
Yep. But you and you just look at it like this, like, right, the first thing, and it's easier said than done, right? But if you go, all right, I'm going to spend $200 on myself this week, and that's with 2 personal training sessions, for example. Or if you've got a good personal trainer, he might give you a free one or something like that. But imagine the difference in your life if you did that. Like if someone's watching and they've never trained before, and you just invest into either a gym membership, right? $50 a week. You're going to meet some new people. You're going to go learn something about yourself. You're going to get a little bit fitter for the cost of like an Uber Eats order.
Exactly.
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
It is weird. Like people don't understand investing in yourself will make you more money too. Like
100%.
I heard Grant Cardone talk about it. I'm probably not going to say it right, but Grant Cardone, he's on Instagram. He's like a massive real estate mogul in the States.
Yeah.
And that he was talking about saving money is like dead money. Like it's doing nothing. He goes, you got to make money work for it. And they're like, well, what if you don't have much money? I'll just put in $50 away a week. He goes, get that 50 and put it in you. Buy a book, train, do a course. And he goes, over time, that $50 a week, rather than you saving whatever, $5,000 at the end of the year, the $5,000 you put into you will make you $30,000 next year.
Yep.
And totally. I was just like,
because you're going to be fitter, healthier, stronger. You might, there's all...
Like you said, meet people if you go to the gym, or you say you read a book, it might encourage you to go do something and network with other people. And
Yep.
Yeah, so just invest in yourself, people.
100%.
Invest in yourself.
100%.
100%. With all your businesses that you've been a part of, and you obviously got your own business, your own, say, personal brand now.
Own brand.
Your own brand.
Yep.
What's the hardest thing about running that?
Running my personal
stuff?
Your
personal brand.
It's evolving. Like it's every week's different.
Because you sort of just got to rely on yourself to make all the decisions and...
Yeah, and like we said before, if you put time into it, like that's why I'm sort of working every single day, but my work sometimes, your personal brand might be on, you're on show all the time, right? So wherever you go, if you go to an event, your personal brand's out there. If you do a workout online, it's out there. All these things, and you got to live behind it. You got to stand for it. So I've got to make sure I train the right way. I've got to make sure I love what I do and I practice what I preach, essentially, right? So mate, it's just a constant thing. And I didn't think much of it until probably about 5 or 6 years ago. Like as soon as I started at the gym, I was like, hang on, this is just, yeah, the gym's the gym and I'm part of it, but you get your own brand on show now. Like people are coming to you. They come to you for things. They come to the gym because of the people in it, right? So, yeah, that's evolved into opportunities with Men's Health, with Mish, with, you know, the stuff with the gym, with opening up all the 440. Yeah, it's just a constant thing. It's tough. It's tough, but it's fun.
What's next for you, Toddy? You got a few things lined up? Surely you end up on TV soon. I can see you doing Biggest Loser or something like that.
Maybe.
You got something in the pipeline? Can't discuss?
There's a few things going on. Look,
Bachelor. Next Bachelor. Yeah.
No, there's too many skeletons in the closet to bring up. No, I think for me, I just want, for the rest of the year, obviously with everything going on in the world right now, it's pretty crazy times, like, as we were saying before.
Yeah.
You know, there's just not slight change, there's change, like no matter whether we like it or not. For me, I think I'm in an okay position. I just want to get through the year and get some goals out of the way with this online program and just help as many people as I can. And whether that's through a medium like TV, whether that's through, like, we're basically on TV now, right? Everyone's...
Sure, tune in, guys. Tune in.
But, you know, traditional media like that TV, you're on TV with your phone. That is your source of essential knowledge, information. Everyone's accessing this thing right here to get whatever they need.
Well, Elon Musk says, have you seen him talk about technology? Are they, like, without going too off track, like
is that
AI?
the one he did with Joe Rogan?
It was his first one he did with Joe Rogan.
Right.
Where he got caught smoking the doobies and they try to fire him or something. I don't know, off the board, but
right.
He talks about your phone we already got AI. Your phone is a part of you.
Yeah.
If you really think about it,
yeah.
Your phone's connected to you 24/7. You're always on it.
Yep.
So that's how you really download information.
100%. And it's, you know, and there's, I think that's for me, it's about just understanding where I'm at and just really pushing these things out and believing in it. Like I believe in everything I'm a part of now. So, it's just sitting in that and marinating in that for the year and then understanding where do I go to next. I'll probably, you know, I used to be big on goals, like, I need to get here and I need to do this. I've kind of gone back a little bit and gone, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy what I'm doing. If I really enjoy it and if I'm present with everything that I'm doing, then opportunities will come. I've got faith in that. I trust it.
So do you have any sort of goal penciled in, like where you want to go to next? Sounds like you've already done what you've set out to achieve at the moment.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Like I've, you know, I'd love to get, call it 50,000 people on this program that I'm working on. You know, that's just a figure I just plucked out of right then. There's no science behind that, but for me, every person that's doing that, I'm helping someone.
Yeah.
So if I can help that many people, great. If I can help more, even better. Personally, you know, I'm in a happy spot. Like I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and just play what's in front of me, mate. See what comes up.
Roll with the punches, baby.
That's it.
That's about it. I've got one more question for you, mate.
Final question.
Any advice? So this goes to all my distinguished guests. So any advice to someone to get off their ass and just have a go, whether it be business, training, or like I said, run a marathon, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best advice, I get advice from a lot of different people, but I think the biggest thing I can say is help yourself before you go and help someone else. So if you've got to make sure that, all right, if there's something wrong in your life, or if you need to, you know, if there's an event you need to go and train for, or if there's a marathon, or whatever it is, look at yourself first and ask some serious questions of yourself. And if you're happy with it, then you can then go on and do that next thing. But, mate, I think just look after yourself and look out for number one first before you look after anyone else.
Got to be selfish to be unselfish.
Totally.
I think I came up with that quote, actually.
Did you? You can trademark
Oh,
that. And show you your friends. I'll show you who you are. You can have that one.
It is true. Like, people don't understand. Well, going back to the other podcast that I did with Tom Kerr, like that's what he said. You got to make sure you refill your cup so you can pour it out to others. And people have got to understand that, I think. And people feel guilty when they look after themselves.
Yeah.
But the more you look after yourself, the more, like you said, you can give to others all the time. And that doesn't mean just going, oh, fuck everyone. Like,
that's what I'm saying. There's a difference, right?
There's a difference.
You don't just go, hey, I'm just on my own and everyone's, It's the way that and I think, and it's really true what he was saying, because what Tommy said was, looking after yourself doesn't physically mean like you're going to just be selfish and take everything, and when there's an all-you-can-eat buffet, just go and take the whole chicken and away you go. It's more about, well, what do I need right now to be settled and to be calm and be happy? I think happiness is the biggest thing. We've got a lot of lonely people in the country and the planet at the moment, you know what I mean? A lot of unrest. So how do you create happiness? You got to look after yourself, and if you can look after yourself, whatever that is, then that's probably what he's getting at. Then you can start to go, right, well, I'm good. How do we help the next person? And how do we, this is probably what this podcast is doing too.
Everybody love everybody, Toddy.
That's it, mate. Just 1.5 metres love.
Anything else you want to share, mate?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, legend. Thanks for jumping on, brother.
Thanks, mate.
It was good.
It was good.
You single lady sliding in DMs? Oh, yeah.